بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد عدد ما ذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون. In this episode, we are going to be looking briefly at the life of the great Imam, the lamp of this ummah, the faqih of this millah, the great knower of Allah, al-arifi billah, al-Imam al-Adham, Abu Hanifa, Nuʿman al-Kufi, radiyallahu anhu. Before we begin, it's important to emphasize that discussions about Imam Abu Hanifa should be approached with respect and scholarly integrity. Let's ensure our conversation honors his memory and contributions, steering clear of any disparaging remark. Imam Abu Hanifa is not just a scholar and not like the rest of scholars, but rather he belongs to the second generation of the as-Salafus Salih. As-Salafus Salih, or briefly, the Salaf, refers to the first and best three generations of Muslims. They are the companions, Sahaba, of the Prophet, their immediate followers, Tabi'un, and the followers of the Tabi'in. And the great Imam Abu Hanifa belongs to the second generation, the followers, or Tabi'un. Now that we've laid the foundation by understanding the esteemed status of Imam Abu Hanifa within the Islamic tradition, let's delve into his remarkable life and contributions. Join me as we explore the legacy of this eminent figure and uncover the timeless wisdom he imparted to generations to come.
Our master, our blessing, our refuge, our pillar, the one of tremendous stature, Imam Abu Hanifa, Nuʿman ibn Thābit, Allah have mercy on him. May he benefit the Muslims and us through him, and may he cause us to part this world upon his love. Ameen. He was born in the year 80 AH and died in 150 AH. He was a follower, Tabi'i, and was alive during the generation of the companions, and met Anas ibn Malik, Allah be pleased with him, who died in 93 AH and was a companion. He is one of the four Imams with whom the Ummah is united in their following. Imam Abu Hanifa was born in Kufa, Iraq, during the reign of Umayyad ruler Abdul Malik bin Marwan. His father's name was Thābit bin Zūṭā, who is reported to have met Ali bin Abu Talib during Ali's rule in Kufa. Imam Abu Hanifa was born 67 years after the death of Prophet Muhammad. It is reported that he had the opportunity to meet many of the Prophet's Sahaba in Kufa during his youth. Imam Abu Hanifa's father, Thābit bin Zūṭā, had met Ali ibn Abu Talib in Kufa, who made dua for him and his progeny, and some say that Abu Hanifa was a result of this dua. Abu Hanifa and Nuʿman ibn Thābit bin Zūṭā bin Marzubān, he was among the Tabi'un, the second generation, who followed the Sahaba of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is reported that the Imam transmitted a hadith from 16 Sahaba, namely Anas ibn Malik, Abdullah ibn Anas al-Juhani, Abdullah ibn al-Harith ibn Juz al-Zabidi, Jabir bin Abdullah, Abdullah ibn Abi Awfa, Wa'ila ibn al-Asqa, Maqal ibn Yasar, Abu Tufayl Amir ibn Wa'ila, Aisha bint Hajrad, Sahl bin Sa'd, Al-Thā'ib ibn Khallad ibn Suwaid, Al-Thā'ib ibn Yazid ibn Sa'id, Abdullah ibn Samra, Mahmud ibn al-Rabi, Abdullah ibn Ja'far, and Abu Umama. Imam Abu Hanifa joined his father's business right from his early years, and it is reported that he was a successful businessman who adhered to the principles of Islamic law. The Imam was provided with excellent intellect and was extremely rational in his perception. He would reach to the crux of the matter within seconds. An incident in this context during his early years is given below. It is reported that there was a Roman who asked 3 questions from the people in a big gathering, and no one was able to answer them. The Imam happened to be in that gathering. At that time, he was in his early teens. The 3 questions were: who was there before God? Which direction God is facing right now? And what God is doing right now? Imam stood up and accepted his challenge to reply to these questions. Abu Hanifa asked him, "What is before 0?" The Roman replied, "Nothing." The Imam then said, "When the common sense dictates that there is nothing before 0, then how can the Creator of the worlds not be the beginning of everything, and there is nothing before him?" In answer to his second question, the Imam asked the person, "If you light light up a candle. What do you see? The man said, light. The Imam asked him, in which direction the light is facing? The man replied, the light is not facing in any direction. The Imam said, Allah, who is light of lights, how can you think of a direction for him? In answering his third question, Imam asked the man to change his place. Let him come to the place where Imam was standing, and let the Imam go to the high ground where the man was standing. The Roman did not have any objection to this suggestion, and they changed their places. Then, answering to his third question, the Imam said, right now, what Allah is doing is this. He has made the man who is on falsehood to come down from the pulpit, and the one who is on truth to come up to the pulpit to prove him wrong. His education. At the age of 20, Imam Abu Hanifa turned his attention from the business of his father towards the pursuit of advancing his Islamic knowledge and studied under many well-known teachers. His teachers included Atta ibn Abi Rabah, Imam Salim bin Abdullah bin Umar, and Atta ibn Yasar Hilali, who was the freed slave of Mu'mineen Maymuna. He also studied under many imams of Prophet's household, like Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, Imam Zayd ibn Ali. His most prominent teacher was Imam Hamad ibn Abu Sulaiman, d. 738 AD, whose educational lineage is linked to Abdullah bin Mas'ud. Imam Abu Hanifa's respect for his teachers was exemplary. He wrote, even in my home I never stretched my legs in the direction of the house of my teacher, Imam Hamad ibn Abu Sulaiman, who lived 7 streets away. The Imam studied many subjects like Quran, Hadith, Fiqh, theology, etc. He is considered a pioneer who developed methods of looking into the texts of Quran and Hadith and deduce rulings from them to resolve day-to-day issues of the people. It is reported that a prominent person in Kufa used to openly call the third Caliph Uthman bin Affan as a Jew. Many people advised him to refrain from such talk, but he was adamant. This was reported to Imam Abu Hanifa. Imam Abu Hanifa met that person and proposed a groom for marriage to his daughter. At that time, he was looking for matches for his daughter. Imam Abu Hanifa praised the proposed boy for his intelligence, wealth, and status in the neighborhood. When the man showed an interest to meet the boy or his parents, the Imam told him that there is one problem. If you ignore it, you can marry your daughter to him. The man asked, what is that problem? The Imam told him that the boy is a Jew. The man got angry. The Imam said, what is the problem in marrying your daughter to a Jew? When the Prophet married his 2 daughters to a Jew, the man understood his mistake, felt remorse for his utterances, and did tawbah. Testimonies of scholars to the Imam's vast knowledge of Hadith. The following incidents bear clear witness to this testimony. He knew many Hadith. Yahya ibn Nasr says, I came to the house of Abu Hanifa, Allah have mercy on him, and it was filled with books. So I asked, what is this? He responded, these are all Hadith. I have narrated but a few by which people may benefit. Muhammad ibn Sama'a mentions Abu Hanifa, Allah have mercy on him, mentioned over 70,000 Hadith and selected only 40,000 Hadith for the compilation of Al-Athar. Imam Abu Yusuf mentions, I have never seen anyone more knowledgeable regarding the commentary of Hadith than Abu Hanifa. He had more insight than I regarding authentic narrations. In addition, he performed Hajj 55 times. Each time, he met with the scholars of Makkah, Medina, and the rest of the cities of Islam. For this reason, you will find among those teachers of his from Makkah, Medina, and various other cities. It is reported that Imam Abu Hanifa established a school in Kufa in which he taught fiqh and related subjects. Soon he became very popular throughout the region. He taught at this school for over 30 years. The most famous students of Imam Abu Hanifa were Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad al-Shaybani, the teacher of Imam Shafi'i. Numerous other students of the Imam became famous hadith scholars of their times, and their narrations were collected by Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim and other famous hadith scholars in their books. It is reported that many of his students migrated to different parts of the Muslim world, like Afghanistan, Bukhara, Indian subcontinent, etc. Imam Abu Hanifa was a prolific orator and debater who participated in numerous debates with atheists, apostates, Mutazilites, and Kharijis. However, he stopped his students from these debates unless they complete their studies and master Islamic subjects. An incident in this context is given below. Imam Abu Yusuf mentions, whenever Abu Hanifa was determined upon a view, I would go to the scholars of Kufa in search of a prophetic narration or non-prophetic narration in support of his view. Sometimes I would find 2 or 3 narrations which I would present to him. Regarding some of those narrations, he would say, this is unauthentic or unknown. Books written by Imam Abu Hanifa. Imam Abu Hanifa wrote many books. The most famous of his surviving books is Fiqh al-Akbar. It is reported that he collected 40,000 ahadith and compiled a book called Kitab al-Athar. This book was the pioneer of books on ahadith during this time of Islamic history. Following his approach, Imam Malik also wrote a book of hadith called Muwatta. During this time, the hadith literature was not infiltrated by fabrications, which was witnessed during the time of hadith scholars like Bukhari, Muslim, etc. This is the reason these hadith scholars collected hundreds of thousands of ahadith and filtered them to a few thousand authentic ahadith, which became part of their collections. Abu Hanifa studied fiqh from Hammad ibn Sulaiman, who was most knowledgeable teacher at the time. Abu Hanifa used to read every day from Hammad ibn Sulaiman between Maghrib and Isha, and whenever he got free time, he used to go to Hammad's house. Hammad remained to be Abu Hanifa's teacher for 18 years. Al-Dhahabi said under the biography of Hammad ibn Abi Sulaiman in Siyar Alam al-Nubala, the greatest faqih from the inhabitants of Kufa were Ali and Ibn Mas'ud. The greatest faqih from their companions was Al-Qama. The greatest faqih from his companions was Ibrahim al-Nakhai. The greatest faqih from the companions of Ibrahim was Hammad ibn Abi Sulaiman. The greatest faqih from the companions of Hammad was Abu Hanifa. Death of Imam Abu Hanifa. During 130 AH, 746 CE, Imam Abu Hanifa was asked by the then governor of Kufa to take charge of state treasury, but he refused. His refusal infuriated the governor, and Imam was imprisoned and lashed till he was about to die. Whatever happened, the Imam continued to refuse to take up that post. Later, after spending a considerable time in prison, was released. After his release, the Imam migrated to Makkah, where he remained till the Abbasid Caliph al-Mansur came into power in 136 AH, 754 CE. Imam Abu Hanifa died in 150 AH, 767 CE, at the age of 70, as his food was poisoned by jail authorities on the instance of the ruler. The news of his death spread like wildfire, and it is reported that over 50,000 people attended his funeral. Later, a tomb was built over his grave in 459 AH.